Welcome back to Oriel Myrddin. We're in the gallery in the Last Valley exhibition again. So let me just draw some attention to this feature here. So if you're ever in the gallery, should I turn this around? Maybe better, maybe. Let's have a look. So if you're in here, you will find the Bronx up there. You have separation of symmetry. Janice Evans. You can see the film Separation of Symmetry there. You can play pinball on here, on an old Spectrum. You can come and listen to music videos of the 80s and 90s on cassette and load these yourself. We have an old analog TV there. And we've got a lot of trailers or TV footage on there from the 80s and 90s. So if you don't know anything much about my exhibition or this particular feature, this is Xennial. So Xennial deals with a microgeneration born to the digital revolution back in the 80s and, well, to be more specific, between 1977 and 1984. Memory is playing up here, isn't it? Shemai Sharon, thank you for joining us, and thank you for the wonderful cake, by the way, which you provided a couple of weeks ago. We are very grateful for that, and I think everybody enjoyed it. Let me so quick shout out, Henley's. If you haven't been to Henley's, you need to go to Henley's in Tumbl. They've got amazing food, coffee, cake, brilliant. I'll be back soon, Sharon. That's a defo. Turn this around. So, another thing on offer here, if you come in, I've got a photo book here with lots of stories, QR codes, portraits, pretty much based on the Xennial. It's a prototype at the moment. Thank you, Sharon. So we've got aerial photography here. There's a minimum amount of images up on the wall itself. Shmai Bugs, thanks for joining. But that's specifically because there are 5 different features in this show itself, but all based on Tumbl in the Gwendraeth Valley. So you have Tumbl there, you have the print series, you have Carnival, which is now off, and you have Bronx up there. Some of the features for this you can access online. You can't access the photo book yet. It won't be available for some time yet. It's still in the making, so as a prototype I'm still playing around with that, and the project is far from finished. So I just wanted to put a sample of that work out there for people to see and to experience. Another part of this project is, let's have a look, I turn this around, is this itself. So this is the comb. I may have mentioned this in a previous podcast or live stream. Podcast, what am I on about? I don't do podcasts. You can access I'm not even sure what I'm going to call it. Whether it's a poem, whether it's it's an audio file. It's an audio file with a poem written on top of music produced by one of my friends, Danny Walters. However, you all know him as Kinky John Fowler, who was a very talented musician, by the way. I thought I'd put that out there. Look at this. Anybody remember who that was? Who it is? What it is? Any guesses? How's about I turn this around? And it's not Airwolf, before anybody says that. Although Airwolf is awesome. What have we got on here? Do I need to remind anyone what that is and what song it may be? If we turn this up. Turn that back down. We're going to have David Bowie over the top. I'd like to take you through more stuff, but I know how much time I have. So, if anybody's played pinball on Spectrum before, that's what it looks like. I had another version of this. I still have it at home somewhere. Come down, have a game. See if you can beat Gareth Huw Davies's score, or Peter Finnemore's score. I think Peter Finnemore holds the highest score in pinball. I might be starting something here now. Let's have a look, turn that around. So again, you know, this is talking about a generation in the 80s which was affected by here, in particular, with a new channel called S4C. Channel 4 came out that same month, I believe, and S4C was launched at the same time. So now we had two new channels that were influencing our culture. And for us, this was fantastic because S4C was a Welsh channel, and we didn't have one of those until 1982. So it was a big deal, an absolutely big deal. Absolutely big deal. We also had, let's turn that around. Oh, I just missed it. We had things like teletext, CDs, digital watches, Sky. You know, things really changed during that time. Anyway, come down and have a scout around, get involved. Actually, I'm going to show you something else. You're going to love this. So in this vitrine, if you can just see in here, there you go. So you have French arrows there, skateboarding, audio cassette, story books. There you have pinball, Spectrum games. It's all about karate, Karate Kid, video games. That's my first camera there. Slingshot. Even have the Reebok pumps in the back there. So there's a glimpse of what's on offer here. And you won't be able to take this in all in one sitting, I don't think. You come down here a few times, and it's designed with that in mind, really, because you can see the carnival stuff, you can see the book and the video. That in itself is one experience. Here, you have a multitude of different experiences. Like I said, the audio file on the floor, standing within the cone, you've got the films, you've got the book. You know, there's a lot of stuff going on here. And then you have things like the Prince project, so Scaffold to the Moon, and then you have a photo book over here. So there's a lot of things to take in. Shemai Dean, thank you for joining us. Delith, Claire, happy days. There you have it. Now on Thursday, you can come in on Thursday and you can listen to me, Abby Paulson and Peter Finnemore talking about the Gwendraeth Valley. Not just about the Gwendraeth Valley, there's no history talk or anything. We are talking about photography and visuality, and we're talking about how photography possibly affects or influences our understanding of cultural identity. So maybe a little bit highbrow, however it should be nice and light-hearted. So if you want to come in and learn a little bit about what we do, why we do it, why we photograph the our homes or our native communities, possibly, pop in. We are arranging also a Zoom talk so that you can tap into that. Just remembered, I still have the original Game Boy with Tetris on it. I still love that. That was my favourite game. Would you like to borrow it? Do you know what? Don't tempt me. You might never get it back. Thank you for the offer. I do appreciate that. Shemai, Donna, Stephanie, thanks for joining me. So this Thursday at 5 o'clock, 5:30, I'm lying, it's 5:30 this Thursday. You can come into the gallery here, you can take a seat, and for an hour and a half you can listen to us yap about the Gwendraeth Valley. I'm really looking forward to this because, one, we are 3 generations, sort of Gwendraeth Valley photographers, and there's a few of us. And no, actually, we are few. There aren't many of us doing it. But as you can see, I've dedicated something like 10, 15, many more years to recording my village, my home, and the communities around. And it is now part of this whole thing. So pop in, experience it, come and see us on Thursday, where you can have a glass of wine, nibbles, look at the work for a little bit, and then listen to us talk. I hope to see you there. Until then, I'm going to leave you to it. Until Thursday, over and out. Peace and sprout.